Ladies and gentlemen, with this video, I'm going to have to give California, San Jose to be more specific, a huge L. Now, I almost can do the L properly again, trying to get my hand healed up, trying to bend it a little bit more because I broke my hand being stupid and reckless out here in these streets, right? But nonetheless, the individuals that you guys saw on my screen, let me back that up like a U-Haul truck real quick because I want to make sure that you guys get an eye full of these three fools right here on my screen, the three amigos. These three dummies that you guys see on my screen, I think they all need life in jail, but I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, why would I say that? And why does this woman have her eyes rolled in the back of her head like she was on the movie Exorcist? No pun intended. But we're going to talk about a lot. There's a lot to discuss here. But before I do that, y'all know I'm very opinionated. So let me give you guys a disclaimer real quick on the screen. Warning. You might find my content controversial. It comes from many sources, including court records, police, and news websites. My video commentary also gives my opinions as well. The point of this is try to prevent tragedies like this going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. It really sucks I have to do that, but people tend to have a problem with how I get down. Now, the mugshot of a California mother, this individual right here, the one that's smiling, and that's actually a screenshot from her YouTube video. She talked about the death of her child. This is going to really mess y'all head up. She made a YouTube video after her daughter died and was laughing about it and seemed kind of jovial about it. The video is still up right now, but I'm not sure if they're going to try to take it down, but I already have a copy of it, so yeah. Hopefully we can keep that video up. She has been accused of killing her toddler during an exorcism. Her mugshot has been released with horrific new details of the murder also emerging. Let me see what an exorcism is. And let me say thank you to dailymail.com for the article. So thank you. An exorcism is the expulsion or attempted expulsion of a supposed evil spirit from a person or a place. Let me say that again. The expulsion or attempted expulsion of a supposed evil spirit from a person or place. Why would I bring that up? And why would I give you guys the definition of that? Because the baby that you guys see on my screen, they're trying to say that that baby was possessed. They're trying to say that this baby had something spiritually wrong with her, that they needed to do this, whatever this stupid procedure is that caused her death. I know y'all are just like, you got to be kidding me. And I promise you guys, I am not joking with this story at all. Give me just a second here. Let me get this sent real quick. Only take me a second. Just a moment. Boom, boom, boom. Got to send something off real quick. We're doing this live, so y'all bear with me just a second. All right, let's keep going. The little girl, this beautiful angel, and I want y'all to take a look at this. Look at this baby. I don't even want her mom on the screen when I'm talking about this baby. I want y'all to look at her. I'm going to pause it right there. I definitely remember when my daughter was this age, and this bothers me for a lot of different reasons because I believe that children need to be protected. Children need an advocate. And you would think that a child should be able to count on their father, should be able to count on their mother, and definitely should be able to count on their grandparents. Even more so, a lot of us flat out trust the church. How many of you guys actually go to church? How many of you guys trust your pastor, trust your deacons, trust the people that work in the church? A lot of us blindly trust people in the church. I think even to a flaw. I think some of them are cool people, but they're still human. I don't think really to trust anybody like that. I think you have to show me things that make me want to trust you. Not just because you're in the clergy, in the church. That's not a good reason to just flat out trust somebody. Okay? So y'all better watch your kids. But nonetheless, this beautiful baby's name is Arely, Arely, and I hope I pronounced her name properly, Naomi Proctor. And I think she has a little bit of a slightly different name, but that's what I see here. And she died in September last year after her mother, Claudia Hernandez, let me go ahead and move forward with that picture. That's the mother on the left-hand side. She's 25 years old. And her pastor grandfather, let me see if I can get his face up here. Let me get Grandpa's face up here. Obviously not the most attractive face in the world. Why this man literally looks... Okay, let me not say that. That might be a little racist. Let me not even say what I was about to say. But he looks like a cartoon character. I'm not going to say which one. Not going to do it. I don't want to be called racist tonight. That is the grandfather, and he performed an exorcism, according to the police, at the family's tiny Pentecostal church in San Jose, California. Claudia, the mother, is accused of holding the girl's neck. I want y'all to keep in mind that this baby was 3 years old. She held her child's neck, squeezing it and depriving her of food, while Pastor Rene Huerzo, the girl's grandfather, together with her teenage uncle, held her down to perform the depraved act. Claudia was charged in January with Arely's uncle, Rene Aaron Hernandez Santos, that's a long name, who's aged 19 years old, and Grandpa, that fool right there, is Rene Trigueros Hernandez, who's 59 years old, and they were also charged this week. The trio's mugshots were shared on Friday as it was claimed Claudia had stuck her fingers Claudia, the mother, took her fingers and put them down the throat of her daughter to try to exorcise, EXORCISE. I guess that's exercise, but it's not exorcise, but it's exorcise the demon inside of her by taking her fingers and putting it down a 3-year-old a baby's throat. Her own mother. She'd grown convinced that the youngster was possessed after Arely started waking up in the middle of the night while screaming and upset. This mother, this alleged human being, 25 years old. Now, I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, but even when I became a father, I really didn't know a lot about babies or young kids. I just knew I liked kids. I was always fond of little children. But when I had my daughter cried a lot throughout her younger years, especially as a baby and even as she got older. Even I knew that she had nightmares, like all of us do. We all have nightmares. Thank you. Somebody said it in the chat. She just had a nightmare. You wake up screaming in the middle of the night. You go check on your child. You go calm them. You tell them you love them and you hold them. Maybe get them something to drink. Let them know everything is okay. Let them use the bathroom. And then what do? You take them back to bed. Is that pretty good parenting tip from me, from a father? That's what I did. That's what I would do. You would do those things and then put them back to bed. You want to calm their soul. That's it. Arely endured 12 hours of this exorcism torture before she died from it. 12 hours. The baby had a nightmare and they made her live out a real life nightmare. How does that even make any sense? So the baby had a nightmare and then you turn around and make her have something happen in real life and put her through it for 12 hours until she died. That's the answer? Really? Is that the answer, Grandpa? He kind of looks like the devil, does he not? The devil with a salt and pepper mustache. They then attempted to make her vomit by sticking fingers and hands down her throat. Lord have mercy. They stuck fingers and hands. That's according to the article. How do you get an entire hand down a 3-year-old baby's throat? How? How is that even possible? The baby lost consciousness and suffered multiple injuries around her eyes, her face, her neck, and her chest, Santa Clara County Deputy District Attorney Rebecca Wise wrote in court documents. That is not my words. That is what they said. The little girl died following after 12 hours of torture, court documents state. Her family also alleged to have waited 2 hours before they called 911, with the mother freely admitting to the police that nobody performed any kind of medical assistance to help the girl before or after she died. You just can't be that level of dumb, man. The mother, Claudia, also allegedly told police that she thought the child was possessed because she wouldn't wake up and scream or cry periodically, local station KTVU reported, citing court documents. During the course of the investigation, the San Jose Police Department homicide detectives identified 3 suspects responsible for the death of the victim. The victim's mother, Claudia Hernandez Santos, the victim's uncle, Rene, which is R-E-N-E, Aaron Hernandez Santos, and the victim's grandfather, Rene, R-E-N-E, Trigueros Hernandez, San Jose Police wrote. The Santa Clara Coroner's Office ruled Aureli's death a homicide, but details of her death have not been made public until now, following the arrest of her 25-year-old mother. Wurzo told the Mercury News that they were performing an exorcism when she died, but he claimed that is not why she died. Where is the biological father in this situation? I'm kind of curious about that. That's a great question. Where is the biological father? He said, while they were performing the exorcism, he said that is not why she died. Well, let me think. That's a 3-year-old child. You're restricting her breathing. Matter of fact, you flat out stopped her breathing and then shoved your fingers and hands down her throat. Now, I understand that y'all say the throat can expand, but you also have to remember that that is a 3-year-old girl's mouth. That's still a baby with a small mouth. She doesn't have an adult head. She has a small mouth. She is a baby. She's a child, a little child at that. I still ask, how do you shove an entire hand down this girl's throat if you shouldn't even be able to get a hand down her in her mouth? Why would they do this at all? He said that's not why she died. Then please, sir, I would love for you to tell the courts and tell them how she died then. What? Jesus did it? God did it? This was an act of Satan? What was it? It was the evil spirit did it? Is that what it was? Not the fact that y'all choked the baby to death. It was the evil spirit. Is that what it was? He said, if you read the Bible, you'll see that Jesus cast away demons and made sick people healthy again. It's not when I want to do it. It's when God, in his will, wants to heal a person. The preacher is like an instrument of God. What we do is what God says. It's the stuff of God, and everything in his is in the will of God, no matter how big or small. Man, look, I'm going to tell you, all 3 of them are going straight to hell for following this man's words. I want y'all to remember that the pastor claims to be a messenger of God. You're just trusting and believing that's what it is. Even if you wanted to believe what this man just said and claim that that's what the Bible said that God did, then you would have to ask yourself, did God take his hands and fingers and shove it down 3-year-old girls' throats and restrict their breathing until they pass out and die and force them to try to throw up, and then don't try to get help for them and wait 2 hours after they're dead? Is that what God would do? Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe there's somewhere in the Bible where God or Jesus or the Holy Spirit says something about how he performed exorcisms on people and shoved his hands and fingers down their throat, restricted their breathing until they passed away, and then got no help for them for 2 hours, just sat there and looked at them stupidly. They also say in the chat, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Isn't that something? Matter of fact, but here's the thing. I don't think that they had good intentions at all. I just think that they are as stupid as they look. I believe that they are just flat out stupid people who deserve life in prison. Let me see if I can give you guys the rest of these details real quick before I show you the news video. After her death, the family held a pink Disney-themed funeral for this baby. Her mother unashamedly posted about it on social media, and she had the nerve to record a YouTube video saying people did not understand what she had been through. She said, "I am at peace. I am happy." This is the mother talking about the death of her daughter. Mom said, "I'm at peace. I am happy. The reason I feel what I feel is God. If you don't want to be in my life, that's okay. The only one I need is God." I don't even know how she even made it this far to put her daughter through this, in my opinion, kill her daughter, and then have time enough to record a whole YouTube video about it. Are y'all hearing me? This was her just talking real casually in that YouTube video. Like nothing happened. I'm going to skip some of the rest of this. The church operated out of the basement of their home in San Jose and is unassuming from the outside. Look at that. It looks like she's possessed. Look like her eyes is rolling in the back of her head. So maybe if, matter of fact, let me blow this picture up. I need to show y'all something real quick. I got to do this. Give me a moment. I have to do this. I'm going to make this bigger because I want to make sure that you guys can see this. You guys see this, right? This is literally a picture that somebody was able to screenshot from the video. Now, granted, I know you can accidentally catch somebody blinking. I'm not dumb. I get it. But I thought it was very ironic that they took this particular picture as a screenshot and uploaded it to the internet as a picture of the mom and her daughter right there. This is a screenshot from her YouTube video. It looks like she doesn't have any eyes. Like her eyes are completely white, like the eyes are rolled in the back of her head, right? So wouldn't it look like she's possessed? Doesn't it look like she's possessed? So what would be the appropriate action if we believe that somebody is possessed? Did they get a second opinion about this? Maybe they should have contacted somebody and asked a professional, is my child possessed? Maybe a medical doctor could have told you if the exorcism was a proper thing to do, right? Of course they would have told you no. Of course. So what would be the appropriate action for us to take our hands and fingers and hold her down? Matter of fact, I want y'all to think about this. I want y'all to think about what if it was the baby dad who said that this woman was possessed. Think about this for a minute. Let's paint a picture. Let's say the baby dad thought she was possessed because of that photo right there, and he got on top of her, put his hands around her neck, and took his fingers and hands and shoved it down her throat. What do y'all think the courts would say about a man that holds a woman down and shoves his hands down her throat, restricts her breathing, and she passes away, and he doesn't call 911 for 2 hours and then turns around and makes a YouTube video about it afterwards, seemingly not being like he's perfectly fine with what he did. What would they say about that? You think the police will be okay with that? You think the courts will be okay with that? Matter of fact, in my humble opinion, I don't think in America we really show children the respect that I believe that we should. Because I believe that a case like that, that man will probably get more time in prison, probably a life sentence, maybe even the death penalty for doing what he did. But three adult people did this to a little 3-year-old girl who cannot speak for herself nor defend herself against the tyranny of her mother and her stupid ass grandfather and this other fool that was with them. I just don't feel like they're going to get a life sentence behind this murder. Nonetheless, I'm going to give you guys the fair usage. Let you take a look at the news video. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, let's get it. If you guys would do me a favor and please click that thumbs up. We want to share the memory of this 3-year-old little baby, man. And what she went through was just, nobody should ever have to go through. You shouldn't even have thoughts like this about your children to do something like this. But nonetheless, please make sure that this baby's memory is never forgotten and click that thumbs up. Share this video, okay? Here we go. Let's get it.
Charges in the death of a 3-year-old girl from San Jose. The child's grandfather and uncle now accused of child abuse after she died in what's being described as an exorcism. KPIX5's Len Ramirez with details on this disturbing case.
59-year-old Renee Trigueros Hernandez and 19-year-old Renee Erin Hernandez Santos appeared together in court as they were both formally charged with child abuse causing the death of 3-year-old Areli Doe last September. The girl's mother, Claudia Hernandez Santos, was previously charged with the same crime.
All 3 defendants were involved in the ongoing abuse of Areli Doe on September 24th. So while they each did specific different physical acts, they all were involved in this abuse.
The death happened inside a small church located behind this house on South 2nd Street in San Jose. A statement of facts released by the district attorney's office states the defendants believe the girl was possessed by a demon because she would sometimes wake up at night and cry or scream. The statement says they took the girl to the church to pray for her and physically force her to vomit, which they believe would drive out evil spirits.
Areli Doe was strangled multiple times to the point of unconsciousness. Areli Doe had fingers shoved down her throat to the point where she had multiple injuries to her mouth and to her tongue. Areli Doe had pressure put on her body, on her torso from the front and back with so much force applied that she lost consciousness.
She eventually stopped breathing after hours of abuse, but the DA says family members waited an hour to call 911. A coroner's report concluded she died from asphyxiation, which led to the grandfather and uncle being charged, in addition to the mother, who was arrested in January. 4 days earlier, the mother, Claudia, posted a YouTube video discussing her daughter's death, but not fully explaining it.
Because I cannot change what is, it is what it is, so I've learned to think positive, because it's many reasons why God took her.
Public defenders assigned to the case did not want to comment. All 3 defendants will be back in court to enter their pleas in June. In San Jose, Len Ramirez, KPIX5.
The child's uncle and grandfather faced the judge today, accused of felony child endangerment that resulted in death. Court documents list her name as Areli Doe. The girl's mom, Claudia Hernandez, has already been in jail since early this year, charged with the same crime. The cause of death findings in the recent coroner's report just led detectives to her brother and father, both named Rene Hernandez, and the allegations are horrifying.
This case.
Yes, y'all heard that correctly. She said about the death of her own daughter, it is what it is. I don't even understand how you look at this angel's face and even think to say something that heartless. It is what it is. Wow.
This is heartbreaking.
As we've reported, the family belongs to an offshoot church that rents a room in the 2nd Street home in San Jose. Court documents show the family believes Arely Doe was possessed by demons because she would wake up in the middle of the night screaming and crying. The prosecutor alleges that back in September, the trio held the 3-year-old girl down in the church for 12 hours as they performed an exorcism-like ceremony. They allegedly called the authorities 2 hours after she died.
Arely Doe was strangled multiple times to the point of unconsciousness. Arely Doe had fingers shoved down her throat to the point where she had multiple injuries to her mouth and to her tongue.
The attorney for the younger Renee says people shouldn't jump to conclusions about the family just because they were arrested.
I haven't received any discovery yet, and there's no reason to rush to judgment on a case like this.
The girl's mother, Claudia Hernandez, posted this 43-minute video on YouTube where she talks about her daughter's death.
I could sit here and be negative about the thing, like, oh, like, I wish I could go back and this and that. But it's like, there is no point of me doing that, you know, because I cannot change what is, you know, it is what it is.
Police arrested her just days after this post.
These 3 individuals are going to be held accountable for the death of a 3-year-old child.
In another bizarre twist, this is the same small church where baby Brandon's family and his suspected kidnappers are also members. We spoke to the church landlord on the phone today.
Porque yo no sabía que los habían arrestado.
The landlord says he didn't know about the arrests and has now given the church 30 days to vacate. The church is being evicted as many members of its small congregation, including the pastor, are behind bars. At the Hall of Justice, Damian Trujillo, NBC Bay Area News.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.
Good evening. We begin with those exclusive details in the death of that 3-year-old girl. Police say she was a victim of child abuse, specifically that exorcism-like ritual.
Church members, which included the little girl's own mother, tried to ward off, quote, evil spirits. That chilling video posted online appears to show the mother talking about the child after her death. NBC Bay's Ian Cole has a story you'll see only on NBC Bay Area.
Multiple sources confirmed the woman speaking in this video posted to YouTube is the mother of a 3-year-old girl who died inside of a backroom San Jose church. Investigators say it happened from an exorcism-like ritual done by the girl's family back in September. The video is weeks later.
I could sit here and be negative about the thing, like, oh, like, I wish I could go back and this and that. But it's like, there is no point of me doing that, you know, because I cannot change what is, you know, it is what it is.
The victim's mother, Claudia Hernandez, was arrested in January on felony child abuse charges just a few days after the video was posted. According to court documents we obtained, Hernandez brought her to the church last September believing she was possessed by a demon because she would sometimes wake up at night screaming or crying. According to the family statement to police, 3 family members held the girl down for 7 hours. Investigators say no one called 911 until at least 2 hours after the child died. The medical examiner's office concluded the cause of death was asphyxia due to suffocation. The little girl's death just recently ruled a homicide.
When she passed away, she was with me. You know, of course, I'm her mom. Why would she not be with me?
In her 43-minute video, Hernandez talks multiple times about her little girl without specifically talking about how she died.
A lot of people turned on me because after my daughter passed away. You know, a lot of people thought like a lot of things because after my daughter passed away because of how the situation looked. But like I said, if you weren't there, if you don't know what happened, then...
The church where she died is the same one that was searched 2 weeks ago after 3-month-old baby Brandon was kidnapped from a home. The suspect in that case is a church member.
It is exceedingly rare in the United States to hear about these kinds of stories.
Christopher Moorman is the chair of philosophy and religious studies at Cal State East Bay. He says stories like these exorcism-type rituals gone wrong emerge from time to time, typically in fringe churches.
All the religions you can think of do practice exorcisms, and the more established the tradition is, the more likely they are to have training that teaches the priest to recognize symptoms of psychological and emotional distress that would avoid this exact kind of situation is what happened.
The girl's mother, Claudia Hernandez, is being held in jail without bail. She denied our request for an interview. So far, no one else at the church has been arrested. In San Jose, Ian Cole, NBC Bay Area News.
One more. Last video.
I'm Ann Makovic at the Live News Desk, and more arrests just announced in the death of a 3-year-old girl in what has been described as an exorcism. Taking a live look at the city of San Jose. It happened at a home with a makeshift church last September on South 2nd Street. The girl was found unresponsive on the floor and could not be revived. Her mother, Claudia Hernandez Santos, was arrested in January. And today, after the coroner's report was released, San Jose police announced that they have arrested the girl's uncle and grandfather as well, Renee Hernandez Santos and Renee Hernandez. The charges, child abuse leading to a child's death.
There was a delay in time before officers and emergency personnel were contacted. The reasoning behind that is obviously part of the investigation. We're still trying to wonder why anybody would delay in calling first responders at any sign of an illness of a child or illness or death of a child.
Police are not releasing any details as to how exactly this girl died or what happened in the moments leading up to that. This is all now in the hands of the district attorney.
Well, we've already got those details. I'll go ahead and stop that portion of the video right there. So we know a lot more than what I guess they knew at the time. And that's usually what happens when we talk about these stories relatively early. But again, I think the mother, grandfather, and whoever the other dude is, I don't remember whether it's the uncle or whatever he is. Let's see if I can get all three of their pictures up. If you ask me, I believe they need life in prison. They have churches in prison. They could go do some exorcisms in there. We'll see how that works out for them when you can try it against adults who actually have the ability to defend themselves, the strength and the power to be able to defend themselves. For 3 grown people to sit there on top of a little baby and hold a little 3-year-old little girl down like that, I think is the most cowardice thing that you could possibly do. And I think that their souls are required in hell for what they did to this baby, this angel, who could not speak for herself and had no ability to defend herself against 3 way past grown adults. Young Aurelie, young princess. It's probably my favorite picture of her right there. R.I.P. R.I.P. I'm sorry this world failed you. But again, like I said, I hope that we see justice in this case. And if we do an update, it'll probably be to find out how much time that they give this mother. Also, for those who do want to see that video, you could try to look it up on YouTube. If you're not able to find it, then you can actually go to my secondary channel, which is the AFC Plus. That link is in the description box, and it'll take you over to my channel where I actually reposted the video, because I'm pretty sure she's not going to have access to be able to get on to that account again. Okay? But let me know if you guys need anything. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Okay? Thank you.